you know, and empower your visions for your music, your art, your love, your films getting propelled out there into the world because of this technology. So Ainsley?
Thank you, Val. Well, hi, my name is Ainsley Costello. I am a 20-year-old singer-songwriter based in Nashville. I'm so excited to be here with you all in Austin. And also, thank you all so much for coming out and dedicating your time and hanging out with us. So much love and time and talent and dedication went into making this event, and it would not be possible if you guys didn't show up. So yeah, with that I want to say thank you to you. Thank you to our awesome tech crew. But yeah, so my name is Ainsley Costello. I'm a 20-year-old singer-songwriter based in Nashville. And you know, I've been putting out music on the traditional DSPs, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, since I was 15. And in 5 years on the traditional streaming platforms, I made about $750. And in a year and a half on Wave Lake and Fountain and the Lightning-enabled streaming services, I've made over $13,000 on my music a day.
Incredible. Thanks to everyone for being here once more. Ainsley covered that territory very well. Very quickly, my name is Abel James. I've been a musician for pretty much all of my life, and that was my first real career. I was a teenager in the late 90s and experimented with uploading my music to mp3.com back then, and kind of saw this proof of concept where I uploaded my music and all of a sudden I was getting a few cents and then a few dollars and actually selling some CDs. And of course, by the early 2000s, that world had kind of been bought up and snuffed out. But I still remembered that feeling like, hey, this could work. But, you know, pursued traditional education, wanted to pay off my loans, got as well a job in management and strategy consulting for a while there, and music was this thing where since the money wasn't enough to really live on, it kind of got pushed to the side. Still always going to be something that I do, but had to look at some other alternative models, like how do we monetize this? And so that after consulting, I really wanted to do my own thing, kind of from grassroots, from the bottom up. And so I had been playing a lot of live shows here in Austin, Texas, back in between 2008 and 2010 or 11 or so. Totally burned myself out on that approach where I was playing a lot of shows, but there was no like record of that. There was no history of that, and it couldn't keep giving, as opposed to this new technology to me back then, podcasting, where you could interview one person or you could use kind of this monologue, and people from all over the world could download it either then or 10 years in the future. It didn't really matter. And so pivoting into that category, I snuck my music onto a podcast that was generally about health, and that got an early critical mass and grew. And fortunately, I started it for free, but found ways to monetize that media, directly through sponsorship. Wasn't something that we did right away. We built our own websites and publishing businesses around apps and books and all sorts of other creative things, trying to make all of this work. But the music side of things, just the money wasn't there, even to kind of like reimburse yourself for making a record. So it can be demoralizing for a lot of musicians until just about 9 months ago, a few people actually in this room at the Bitcoin Commons, which thanks so much for having us here, great people. And so shout out to John Gordon. He mentioned, he's also local to Austin. He mentioned Wave Lake and Fountain and some of these other people. He mentioned Joe Martin and Ainsley Costello. He's just like, look into what they're doing. I don't even know exactly what it is, but look into what they're doing. And so I did, and ultimately uploaded my album to Wave Lake in June.
Fantastic album, by the way. Go listen to Swamp Thing by Religions.
And I also didn't know at all what I was doing, and didn't really understand what like uploading to this black hole would ultimately mean. But without any promotion from my end or understanding, all of a sudden folks like Salty Crayon, shout to Salty Crayon, Heather Larson, as well as Jim and other DJs, some of them based out of Hill Country, we got a nice little critical mass there too, found this album on L1 Beats and then started playing it on their shows, and then listeners found it and it kind of took on its own life. And this was the first time that I had really seen that happen in my music career in many, many years, despite uploading to Apple and Spotify and getting tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of plays and checks for $10 with a fee of $250, you know, like every quarter or whatever it is. So, you know, starting this summer, going to the Nashville event Bands in Bitcoin was absolutely incredible. Meeting Mike, the Costellos, and a lot of these other folks and some of the devs, I have never been more excited about the world of music than I am right now. So take it from here.
That was great, Abel. Hi, everybody. My name is Parker Worthington. I want to thank Mike and the Costellos for bringing me into this world. First and foremost, I am a contributor to BTC Pay Server. We're a free and open source way to accept Bitcoin payments. Forever, we take no fees. If you've never heard BTC Pay Server, it is an it's a project that is now inside of so many other Bitcoin projects. It's a library that's enabled people to just start accepting Bitcoin anywhere in the world for no fee on themselves. We take no data, nothing. And I've been contributing for probably 5 years, and I've started as an animator for them and graphic designer, and then that led me to documentary filmmaking with them. And I made a documentary called My Trust in You is Broken, and then following that was Paid in Bitcoin, which the star here is Michael Merkel here in the second row. And that was about all the payments in the Bitcoin Nashville conference. We set up all the merchants to accept Bitcoin, and a lot of people had never touched Bitcoin before, so it was a story to tell of how these merchants were learning about it. And there's a lot of difficulties along the way, and if you may experience today, the parts in Bitcoin work very well, but a lot of the time it's the environment and what you're kind of doing with it and how you're using it and how you're learning it. So it's a little rough, but if you can accept it, it can be the most amazing thing.